Dope. All right, so YouTube is live. Great. Now let's try to get Instagram to be live. Just trying to get Instagram to be live. Okay. Hey guys. All right. So, oh, I probably messed that up. Let me see. Somehow, there we go. My light is very temperamental. But welcome back to another live. This is going to be another part of last week's live, working on these boots here. It's actually where I've gotten so far. Most of the color is on there. And so at this point, I'm going to start doing some of the pen work. One of my preferred methods of doing art is pen sketching, and I do use a lot of that on my shoes too, especially if there's something I don't know, I just feel like I can capture details a little bit better with a pen. It's just something very familiar for me. I've always been that kid that draws all these elaborate things on their hands and their arms during class. So yeah, I'm probably going to end up doing that. But as you can see, did the stars, the dragon's tail, the lamb. We have the woman, her baby, and the wings. It says wings like an eagle. And then on the other side, we have her when she's with child. I'm going to do her stars, the crown for her stars in a little bit, and then define this dragon as well. And then we have the word of God in the beginning. But so far, so good. I'm doing some really good headway, so I'm really excited to start going back. I should show it for YouTube too. Though the quality for YouTube is definitely not as great as for Instagram, so I might just have to upload it once I save this one and put it on there again. But I hope everyone's doing well. I'm really excited to jump into it, and I also have my Bible with me this time around. Just to kind of walk you guys through Revelations. I definitely talked a little bit about it last week. But since then, I've been doing a lot of commentary and research and kind of trying to get a better understanding, which is something I often do when I'm working through a new project, especially when it has scripture in it. And yeah, just so I have a good understanding of it, and I'm really telling the truth, integrity of the word. So yeah, a little bit about the book of Revelations. It's actually written by Apostle John, the same John that wrote, the Gospel of John, as well as the Epistles of John, which is John 1, John 2, and John 3. At this point in his life, he's been exiled to the island of Patmos. And it's there that he has a vision. And it's basically talking about the tribulation period. And basically, for anyone who doesn't know what the tribulation period is, it's supposed to be this time of suffering on the earth that happens. And basically in Revelation 12, it's kind of giving us the signs that he receives during, his time in exile. And so the first sign, which I talked about last week, is, the woman who's with child. Hey. So yeah, the woman who's with child, who represents Israel, she has the 12 stars. And the moon is supposed to symbolize, what's her name? I don't know why I'm like drawing a blank, but um, Rachel, and the sun represents Jacob, who's Israel. So yeah, it's really interesting. Again, like I'm one who really enjoys a lot of the symbolism that's in the Bible. And so I just wanted to reiterate that for anyone who didn't get to see last week. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And then the dragon is supposed to represent Satan, but it also, a lot of people think that it represents kind of like a government or like the Antichrist. And that's what the beast is supposed to represent. And so that's kind of like just a background about the book of Revelation. In the tribulation period, it's supposed to be that the basically the beast comes into power, though Israel is being protected for 3.5 years. And that's kind of going into like Revelation 13, which Revelation 13 is all about just the beast coming into power. And it says that one of the heads of the beast was mortally wounded by a sword, but lived. And so, like, a lot of people will say things like, in that context, that it might be like the Antichrist or like whatever this government or that he controls is, and that the person is wounded or the government is wounded, but lives, and that's supposed to be a sign, and it gets into a lot of other things. Which I just find fascinating. Like, that's actually one of the classes that I took, like I started taking before I started my ministry classes through my denomination. Which, if you don't know, if you ever want to learn like something new about or learn more about the Bible, they actually have free classes. Like for Dallas Theology is the one that I use. Another one is like Hillsdale, I believe, is another one that also provides, and I'm sure probably a bunch of colleges like provide those classes. But I just find eschatology very interesting. And so that's another reason why I'm really excited about this project. So I'll show you what we're getting into. There's just something about pen work that's just very like, I don't know, it's just really, really cool. I love, like, I want to really get into doing more like ink art, like actual, like, like ink with what is that? Almost similar to like calligraphy, I guess. It's just really beautiful to me. Yeah. So far, I am really happy with how things are turning out. I'm also really excited because there's a lot of really cool things that are in the works. Hopefully, pretty soon I'll be able to talk more about that. My office is like a huge mess just because there's so many projects going on. But it's just really exciting, really, really exciting. And as I mentioned, like last week, I'm definitely going to be dropping a few new items really soon. Probably sometime what is today, Friday? Yeah, probably beginning of the week, perhaps right before Christmas. Which I can't wait to get your feedback and see what you guys think of that. These are items that I really like enjoy and that they're super comfortable. I try to make everything like super comfortable and like, I don't know, just lots of fun. So I'm excited to get your feedback on that. Is anyone excited for Christmas? I know I'm definitely super excited for Christmas. It's just gonna be a good time. It's one of my siblings' birthdays as well, my brother. So I'm excited to spend some time with him. Um, my sister should be back from college as well, so that'll be really fun. Just hoping like all the siblings get together. There's four of us on my mom's side, and so like I'm really looking forward to that, and then hopefully getting to see my dad's side and my other two siblings as well in the new year. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to all the time with family. I think that's like one of the most like magical parts of any holiday is just being able to spend time with people that you love and just enjoy them. So I really hope that you guys just get to have so much fun with like those that you love, and um, yeah, that is just a really incredible holiday. Okay. I really like the leather that's on these boots as well. It's actually really great for painting. There's like certain finishes on leathers that can make it really hard and difficult to paint. And then other ones that make it fairly easy. Like this one is a very soft, like leather. The texture isn't like super smooth, which is nice. It makes, and it's kind of like wrinkled, which honestly I think is probably really great. It's really easy to be able to paint. Whereas like the one shoes that I did for Hadass, the leather was very sleek. It's I don't remember like what kind of leather it was for that shoe. I'm gonna have to like look at the details for that silhouette, but it was just very smooth, like very like the paint at first wasn't adhering to it, so I had to use like another medium to basically create like a layer over the leather that the paint would be able to grab to. So normally, like when you see like with Nikes and like most shoes, they have like a layer, um, a factory layer over them to protect the shoe that's scratch resistant, and or it's supposed to be for the most part. Sometimes it's not always the best quality, but um, it's supposed to protect the leather basically. And so that's what you remove with acetone when you're going to customize your shoes. So that's like what I did when I prepped these boots and stuff. I went ahead and wiped them down with acetone. I also just clean them in general because I tend to thrift a lot of my items and give them like a new life. I'm really passionate about that. I think it's really important to be able to not just constantly create so much waste, I guess, with like clothing. When there's so many shoes and clothes out there that like haven't really even gotten like enough use um, before they're like thrown away, which is why I think it's really important to donate and also to like upcycle in general. So usually what I try to go ahead and do is make sure to really prep the base of shoes or any clothing that I have, just making sure that before I even start, the base is correct. And so I'll do that with a lot of the items that I have. I'll make sure to wash them or, put them, just make sure everything is good with them before I start painting or customizing them. And so I really like that these shoes are already like after doing that, like the leather is very, very good quality, but still very good for, for painting. And I have to find out what brand these boots are. I actually don't think I know. But they kind of give me like a little bit of like almost like a Doc Marten kind of feel to them, which is really cool. I've never had a pair of Doc Martens. That's definitely like on my list of shoes that I want to have. I actually got to visit like a really cool Doc Marten store back when I was living in LA. It's on Melrose, I believe. But it's really cool because it's like vintage Doc Martens. And so a lot of them are like thrifted items. I don't think any of them were really like fairly new or anything like that. But it was just really cool to get to see all the different silhouettes and just custom shoes that they had there. Hey, Dan, what's up? Yeah, it's I'm like I just love like going in and finding like cool, unique stores and things like that. There's like a little town that I like going to in PA that has like really nice thrift stores and like other things. I used to go there with my ex a lot. It's called like New Hope, the town, and it's like I don't know. It's just nice to find like all these like little spots that like have really cool stores and unique items. This one is actually I got these ones from a thrift store that's over near me. I'm kind of like on the way to like Atlantic City, and so like there's already like a lot of thrift stores here in New Jersey that are really cool. But me and my brother found like this really nice one um, over in like I think it's kind of like I guess like Tuckerton area. Um, and yeah, I got these boots. I think they were like maybe like they were under $10, I believe. So yeah, really dig that. Um, that's another really great thing about like thrifting and upcycling in general is one, you get a really good deal, and two, you usually get something that's really unique. And if you're more interested in like customizing and making like suiting things to your own closet, like it's a really good deal. So I hope that, and not to preach or anything about it, but I do hope that like maybe this opens a lot of people's eyes to maybe thrifting a little bit more rather than like going and getting all these like new clothes and things like that because they're not going to stay new long. And honestly, I will say there are so many brands that aren't super great quality. Like lately, especially like with shoes, um, that's like a big thing. Like that, I feel like I'm always talking about, like with anyone who's like into shoes and things like that. Just about how like a lot of these shoes that are being produced, like they're just the quality is not that great. You know what I mean? They just don't make them the same way that they used to. So that's another reason why I think thrifting and upcycling is really cool because the quality is usually way better than if you were to get like a new item that's made cheaper now, you know? So yeah, that's the end of my rant. Thank you for being part of my TED Talk about upcycling and why it's probably better for your wallet and also better for the environment. Um, so yeah. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm just adding like those smaller details. So I'm working on kind of like the bridge of the woman's nose. I don't think I'm gonna really get into a lot of her face. I don't know. I think my idea, like with this particular custom, is kind of trying to do something a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know how to like properly describe it. I'm gonna show it for YouTube as well. Um, but something that's a little more avant-garde, kind of. I don't know. This is how you know I didn't go to art school, because I feel like everyone who goes to art school who are super cool. Shout out to anyone who goes to school to study art and refine their craft. I think it's really cool that they're able to really one describe and recognize a lot of different art styles, which is like for me, like being self-taught, like I I often recognize artists like by their work, but I like don't know their names, or like I don't know what their particular niche is, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm trying to go for something that's a little, I don't know, fun, because I feel like even with this, it's kind of like a pop art kind of like feel. Um, and so I want to be true to that. Now I'm just working on like texture for her hair. Which you'll see once I give you like a closer look, how like the pen really adds a lot of really cool detail and contrast to the paint. One, because it's like on the shinier side, but also like another reason why I love pen is just the wispiness of like pen art. Um, is why I usually prefer to just like when I sketch, especially like I don't think I started using a pencil or anything to sketch until, I don't even know. I don't think I really started using a pencil to sketch until probably really until I started like doing customs, just like to, you know, obviously if I'm going to do pen as a sketch, I can't erase it. So I use like a pencil. But when I was just making like sketches like in school, um, or anything like that, I just, I always used like a pen. Um, that was like my preference. But yeah, it's just really, really cool. Uh, okay. So I like it too because now that I have the light on, you'll be able to kind of see what I'm doing. Um, Now I'm working on her shoulder. Does anyone have any questions or anything as well? If not, I'll just probably keep babbling because that's what I do. I'm actually very chatty, which is so funny because I feel like when I first meet people, I'm either comfortable enough to just kind of be more like outgoing, I guess, or I'm just like super, super quiet. Mostly because like I'm just shy, and I like have like this thought in my head, like, I don't know, like even like since was a kid, like I was really chatty as a kid, and then at some point everyone would just tell me to stop talking. And so like it got to the point where I was kind of like, maybe people just don't want to hear what I think, and so I should just probably stop. So now I'm like in this phase where I kind of just like don't speak unless like spoken to type thing, or at least like, obviously I'll be very polite and things like that. But as far as like sharing my opinions and things like um things that are more personal, I feel like I'm very reserved, which is so funny because I definitely was not like that when I was younger. there is such a thing, I feel like, as like when you grow older and you mature, like certain things just kind of change. Like your personality maybe doesn't change exactly, but the way that you express it definitely changes. And so I feel like that's definitely a truth that I have experienced, um, especially now, like coming into my late 20s. I feel like there's so much that has changed in my life. I am grateful because I still have like friends that I'm close to, from like when I was in my young 20s and things like that, which, I really appreciate you guys. Some of you are on here. um, that, yeah, I don't know how I got on this topic, but that's usually what happens. I just jump from one topic to the next. So right now, I'm kind of going over the sun. So before, I'm gonna open it so that I can read up. That is my pot roast. I'm making a pot roast right now. I'm hoping it comes out good, and it's in like the air fryer. Thankfully, it'll cut off. But I am in Revelations 12, and I'm gonna go down to the description again, which is verse 1. It says, "A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head." So because it says like she was clothed with the sun, I wanted to kind of, and I feel like I'm definitely going to have to go over it more at some point with like some pastels. My brother got these really cool like media gel sticks, like mixed media gel sticks. And so I definitely want to test that out and start putting some layers of that probably on the sun so that it looks more like a sun and less like, I don't know. Right now it's starting to look kind of like a kraken or something. But if you see like on her bump, I'm going to try to portray the sun on her dress. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And defining the moon now, which I kind of want to put like little craters on. A lot of the times too, I really just enjoy being able to just work on a project in this manner, where it's like I kind of make like a rough sketch. Obviously, like if I'm doing a custom project, I'll do I'll do something different, like the video that I just posted. Like I'll digitalize it. I'll come up with like an original sketch for it, which I think I do have like a bunch of. Oh, I have one right here next to me. 1 second. Careful with these wires. Like my Isaiah 55:9 ones. So this is a sketch that I did of it. I'll show for Instagram. So I'll do something like this, like where I'll do like a pen sketch. Sometimes I'll use crayons. I'll just kind of use whatever I feel like using to do like a basic sketch like that. And that kind of gives me my focal point for like when I'm doing a project. Whereas like something like this, I did something completely new by using like Pinterest, which is so much fun, and kind of like piecing everything together that way. And now I'm just kind of going over, I guess, just kind of like letting my imagination go wild, and making it come to life. Another thing that I kind of want to play with is more geometric shapes. So I'm going to make some little guidelines here. I think that's my brother. My younger brother is home. So Bentley is going to go wild for a few minutes. But yeah, I think I want to play with some like geometric kind of shapes and see how those things go. I think that's the cool thing about art though, is it really does take on like a life of its own, and it's really easy to be able to just kind of like, I don't know, just create something very unique and maybe not per se perfect, but I don't know. I think there's so much beauty in the imperfections, if that makes sense. And so like I'm just gonna keep going and seeing how things end up. I'm thinking too, I'm probably going to go over this moon at some point with like a kind of shimmery kind of finish to it, if that makes sense. So I'll probably do that at some point too. But right now, just continuing to define everything further with a pen. Collarbones. And my light just went out again. I have to get a new tripod at some point. Let's see. If not, it is what it is. There we go. Boom. One thing I will say is I'm definitely one of those people. I put off buying new things, especially like if it's a technology thing, because like for whatever reason I think I can fix everything, and I usually do. Thankfully, glory to God. I do usually tend to be able to fix things. I once like made like a this is gonna sound so bad, but I once made from a pen, I made like one of those like stilos that you can use for like sketching like on an iPad. I literally pulled the pen apart and used, what did I use? I used like paper towels, like wet paper towel, rubber bands, and like something. I think that was pretty much it. So I took the pen apart, and I guess like this inside part right here, yeah, I took the whole inside part out, stuffed like the inside with like the paper towel, and somehow it worked. Like I was able to do some sketching and stuff. A lot of my early sketches that I did on I mentioned it actually in the last video, the app that I still use. I've been using this app since I was probably like, I don't even know, maybe like 12, like some age around then. then. And it's called Sketchbook. And actually, it's not even supposed to be on your phone. But my iPad stopped working, and so I figured out a way to be able to transfer it and stuff, so I can use it on my phone instead. And so a lot of my sketches, like that one that you saw, I actually did on my phone. And I actually used my finger with that one. I didn't want to use like a stilo or anything. But yeah, I really prefer to try to fix things. I love like when things kind of fall apart and don't work, because it gives me an opportunity to take it apart and understand how it works. And I just find that to be so much fun. I always have, I guess, like that's like where my brain goes to. Like when I see things, I'm like, how does this work? Like, how is this possible? So that's the main thing. I realize I should probably bring this down more. I feel like maybe, oop, there we go. If you saw the setup, I'll have to take a picture of the setup that I just made for here. Because it probably looks so crazy. Yeah, like if you see, because this is like my filming station. My brother helped me to reorganize my office recently. And again, like it's a total mess again, just because there's so many projects. I've got like a bunch of like jackets and pants that I have to paint for this new exciting thing that is possibly coming soon. And I'll be able to talk about it soon, hopefully. But yeah, like this is my station for filming. So I'll be doing more makeup videos and stuff too. Because I love, making makeup content. That was like one of the first things I actually did on this channel, with my best friend at the time. We had like a channel called Kamari Magazine. And I forget how we came up with Kamari, but yeah, we used to have like a Tumblr blog and like all this other stuff. And yeah, it was always about fashion and makeup. And so those were the first videos that I watched and the first videos that I actually made. So makeup content is very dear to my heart. I still watch a lot of makeup videos. So I have one that I already filmed that I want to post pretty soon at some point. But this is the station. I have all my makeup stuff over here. One of my mirrors that I use. And then I have like my t-shirt press machine here too, for making like hoodies and shirts and things like that. So I have all that set up here. And then obviously like this is probably going to be the best place to do my live streams. And so there's a lot going on in this space. So when I take a picture of it and post later, don't judge me. That, yeah. So this is kind of what it's looking like. And now I'm going to move on more towards dragons and kind of just defining them. If you can see, like when I painted them, I kind of just did like dots for where the eyes are. They look kind of scary. But I mean, that kind of makes sense. They're dragons after all. But yeah, now I'm going to go with the pen and define that up. And then kind of move around to the rest of the one. This is like at the side that I'm really excited. I started a little bit with the pen, but I'm like super, super excited for this portion, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I feel like one of the things people probably wonder the most about is like why I love to like use stories from the Bible a lot, like with my art. And it's because there's just so much in the Bible I find so interesting and so beautiful. And the Bible is like God's love letter to us. And so I think it's really cool to see where his heart is and just to see the beauty of like what he intended creation to be. And so like that's why it's like such a, you know, it's such a cool medium to me because it's not just medium, it's my life, it's our lives, anyone who believes. And I find it so cool. I guess like in the same way, like, like the Renaissance period, a lot of it was a lot of Catholic art, you know. So I'm sure they probably felt a very similar way that I feel. So let's put this dragon here. So I did like speak a little bit about the dragon, what it's supposed to represent, which I'm really excited to explore more. I've been getting really inspired lately to write more and stuff. So when that's finished, I can't wait to like talk more about that. But I just thought it was really interesting, like when reading Revelation 12 and kind of thinking about different, like, I don't know, I think that's the one thing that's really interesting about prophecy is like kind of looking around and really, having eyes to see and ears to hear the different things that are going on around us. And so, like, I was kind of trying to think, I'm like, what would all these things be? I'm not going to share them because obviously that's probably going to be really controversial and people are going to be like, but it just was really interesting to me to kind of sit and think about where I'm seeing that kind of like imagery in our everyday life. And yeah, I just find it so fascinating. And it's so interesting because like I never would have thought that my neighbors are back. I never would have even thought that this was something I would be interested in. Like I definitely like I grew up like in a Christian household, but of course you are. You got your popcorn ready. um, maybe one day I'll get into my my end time thoughts and things like that when I feel led to. But yeah, so like as a kid, like grew up in church, but I like didn't really pay much attention. I feel like, which is so interesting because like I remember like I like being 15 and like being at this age where you're starting to like kind of think about the future. And my parents are both like professors. They're both like college grads. And so like college was always a big thing, which is so ironic because I only went to college for a 1 year, I think. Yeah. And then I dropped out. But, I had always been kind of thinking about school. And I remember um, having this thought, just so weird, like just being like, what if I went to school for theology? And the thing is, like, I don't even think I really understood what theology really meant. I just kind of knew that it had to do with like philosophy in like some kind of way. And like I think during that time I was doing a lot of poetry and like a lot of just making music and writing books and things like that. So I had that thought for like a split second and then in the next breath like I'm just like, yeah, nah. Nah, that's definitely not for me, you know? It's just so interesting because I feel like I don't know. I always love looking back and kind of seeing how like there's like touches like of our story when we're growing up that now like at 28 it's like I am in school for ministry. I am fascinated by theology and doctrine and just understanding not just like my own religion but other people's religions, which is so interesting because I don't think before it's like I feel like I'm at this place where I like see so much of the ignorance that I had towards like other people and other cultures, even though I probably didn't seem like that on the outside. I feel like now it's like, wow, there's just so much to learn and so much to understand other people's point of views and to kind of just be able to appreciate how differently everyone thinks. I think I love that the most. Um, I feel like I probably would have loved to be in like forensics or like debate team when I was in school. And I did actually go to a meeting like my first year of high school, but I forget what happened. I just don't think that I was able to because like at that point I didn't have a car. My parents like both worked full time. And so like I really didn't do a lot of extracurricular things like at school per se. I did like things outside of school, like we grew up going to like the Y and doing like judo. I think I took one art class, a lot of dance classes, which is so funny because I can't dance. Um, so yeah, it's it's really interesting. I really like love debates. I watch a lot of debates, a lot of podcasts. I'm always very interested and intrigued by how other people think. And I feel like especially now, like I've grown a lot in that because even just like I think even just to a few months ago, I think like I had like a conversation with someone, and at first it kind of stumped me, but it really put something in my heart to want to study more and to learn more and to just understand um, this person better. And so I was and just kind of like how they think. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. Um, I definitely want to learn more. And so like that's just gotten me into a lot of just kind of like apologetics and also just like different schools of thought. So yeah, maybe one day I should do like I don't know. I'd love to like sit down with people and like talk to them and just have interesting, meaningful conversations. Um, Even on here or something, that would be lots of fun to do one day. Scales. Hmm. I mean, I don't. I probably could. I don't even know if I remember a lot of things I learned in judo. I I don't think I would flip you, you or toss you or anything like that. But I did do that once though, as a kid, and like I got in like a fight with someone, and really though, what happened is that person. It was like two girls in our neighborhood, and they were like like one making fun of my cousin, my younger cousin, who like we're like a year apart or so. Um, so actually, if Dan is still on here, it was Janier. So basically, they were making fun of Janier and trying to hit him with like um, bikes and stuff. And I told the one girl, I was like, I'm gonna like, I'll flip you off your bike if you keep trying to hit my cousin, basically. And she wasn't listening, so I flipped her off the bike. Um, yeah, that was a fun day. She ended up like reaching out to my aunt, her mom, I guess, like saying something to my aunt and like trying to say that I just jumped these two girls for no reason. Like, mind you, like I'm just like this nerdy kid. Like, I mean, I think at this point I did have some kind of reputation of like, which is so weird because I'm like such a like I don't know. I would really prefer not to fight people, especially at this point in my life. But back then, for whatever reason, people were catching hands, and it just was what it was. But mostly because, like, not because of me, like, mostly because they were messing with people that I care about. But yeah, that was a fun day. That was a really fun day. And then years later, I ended up serving her at one of my jobs at like Top Golf. And it was I don't know if it was awkward or not. I think she still tipped me. So it was like it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Oh my goodness. No, I'd be kind of scared to do that. I'd be scared of like hurting you in some way. Wow. It's already almost been an hour. That is actually wild. That's actually kind of wild. I kind of show you. So yeah, just adding like definition, different faces. There is something I don't know if I want to add it. it probably, I don't know if I'll have space for it, but it says that each of them had like different blasphemies on them, like names, like blasphemous names. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to actually add that per se. I'll probably call him a bit in a second because I'm probably gonna head off in a moment. My brother's calling me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. It was definitely a lot more chatty. Now you guys know that I could probably toss you because of judo. So just so you guys know and don't want to catch these hands, just keep your distance and things will be fine. But thank you so much for watching. As you can tell, like my voice is like a little wild right now. I can't with the change of seasons. But I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to like sit and listen to, what tosses around in my head and also learning more about Revelations. And I will see you guys. Actually, I won't probably see you guys next week because next week is Christmas. So because I won't see you guys next week, and I probably won't be seeing you the week after that either because it's New Year's. Really interesting. So I hope that you guys have a great Christmas. I hope that you have an amazing New Year, and I will see you guys live in 2025. God bless you guys, and have a great night. All right, share and end it here. God bless you guys, and have a great night. I will see you again in 2 weeks.